I had this Red Haven kitchen clock shipped to me the other day. The owner recently purchased it at an antique shop and wants me to take a look at it. I see the door isn't working very good. The frame needs to be rebuilt and the hinges are loose. The case is in beautiful shape. The gold decal on the glass is getting thin. Loose joints on the door frame. The door is binding on the bottom here. The glass is almost ready to fall out. Looking at the wood finish, someone has used a wood stripper and removed all the original finish. The mounting screws for the hinge are loose, and you can see remains of the old varnish on it. The door latch is in need of help. Some initials on the wood brace here. It looks like BN. Here you can see some of the old finish. Looks like it was really dark at one time. Wood brace for the top is missing. The adhesive looks like old Lipages or hide glue was used. The dial is in a distressed state. Get these hands off. I was half expecting a nail, but it's a broken staple. Dial washer was installed upside down. The back of the dial pan is zinc plated, and it's in good shape. It's soldered to the front bezel in 4 places. These tabs are for the gold gilt brass beauty ring on the front. Tabs are brass, but have turned black from the electrolysis working on them from the zinc dial pan. The bezel is bunged up at each fastener location. Someone damaged it with a tool of some sort, maybe a hammer or a big screwdriver. Paper dial has gold paint on it from someone painting the bezel. And the brass trim has some dark spots on it. And the gold gilt has been painted over and is worn off. Movement is filthy. Just look at the dried grease buildup next to the mainspring and pivot. The grease is so thick it's going to need to be cleaned before it can be inspected for wear. Lantern pinion trundles have a lot of wear on them. Center arbor. I'm going to soak these in mineral spirits for a couple days and then hand clean them with a brush before I put them in the clock cleaner. The grease on the inside of the plate is caked on hard. Well, I better get to cleaning on this so I can move on to getting it up and running. The movement has been pre-cleaned and it's time to inspect for wear. I'm going through and marking the pivots that should be bushed. You can see how this one is elongated. I recondition the pivots first before installing bushings. When the pivots shine like a mirror, it's time to work on the bushings. I'll bush this one first. First step is to enlarge the elongated hole in the direction away from the worn section. The goal is to make the hole concentric in relationship to the theoretical center of the pivot. Once concentric, I ream the hole to correct OD. It's ready for the bushing now. Several options to choose from. Standard solid bushing stock, drilled bushing stock, I'll use this solid bushing stock. Bushing is cut and ready to install. It fits the pivot just fine. Press it in from the back. It needs to be flush with the back side of the plate. Sometimes I produce the oil sink on the front plate side after the bushing is installed. These convex punches work good. And it work hardens the bushing at the same time. Time to broach the bushing. Just need to remove a small amount. A nice free rotating fit on this one. Most of the lantern pinions are badly worn on this movement. I'll start with the governor fan lantern pinion. The fan is held in place by a dimple in the brass that locks into the slot on the arbor. It serves as a lock and clutch at the same time. If the clutch portion gets too loose, the fan can slip and the chimes will run too fast. I need to make a cutter the same diameter as the trundles. Perfect. This style of pin vise works good for shaping a cutter because it has these 4 slots that can be used to index the cutter by hand. Using the slot, I rotate the pin vise 180 degrees for the other side of the cut. Clean the cutter. Looks good. The cutter will cut the minimum amount of brass away so the old trundle can be slid out. Nice clean cut. This one is worn on several sides. Ready for new ones. checking the length of the old ones. Original trundles are usually made from soft steel. You can check the hardness by a few simple tests. If they bend easy and file easy, they are made from soft, untempered steel. Even a pair of pliers leaves a tool mark. These are almost as soft as butter. I'll make the new ones from piano wire. Using a diamond cutter, the paper is my gauge for rough cutting to length. They slide into place just great. Now to form the brass to lock them in. Ready to start on the next one. Time to get the movement together. Check the chime side adjustment. This gong hammer spring needs to be put in place. the verge, suspension spring, looking good so far. Oil the movement. This door needs some attention. The whole thing will need to be taken apart and re-glued. Feels like the hinge pin is seized up. It's causing stress on the wood frame. This fastener is in line with the hinge pin. Not a good way to fasten something like this. There should be a fastener going the opposite direction to the hinge pin. First, remove the glass. I'll attempt to save these original wood strips. These fasteners are quite large in diameter and quite crudely installed. These small holes in the wood, looks like there were small fasteners used in the past. Stencil on the glass is getting real thin. All glued up, and I installed extra fasteners from both sides of the corners. Much better. I'll use smaller diameter fasteners. Nice fit up. Now to take a look at this dial. The paper dial has paint, stains, and has pieces missing. It's also become disbonded from the dial pan. It's nice to keep things original, but in this case, original is just too deteriorated to restore. So it's time to replace it. The brass bezel is in sad shape as well. This rough area here is paint buildup. It's been painted several times. Center beauty ring has corrosion buildup here. There's also an air gap between it and the dial paper. Well, time to disassemble and get it restored. The zinc on the dial pan has reacted with the brass and caused this dark corrosion. This happens faster when these clocks are in moist conditions. This was originally gold gilt, but most of that is gone now. These brass escutcheons need to be removed in a way that they can be reused if possible. These can be cleaned up and reused. Always nice to keep the originals. To do this right, the new paper dial needs to be under the brass bezel. Dial pan needs to be separated from the bezel. It should clean up just fine. I ended up soaking the dial pan in hot water for about an hour, and the paper dial released just fine. This dial will look much better. I usually design my own dials. On this clock, the owner wants to use a new old stock vintage replacement dial. Vintage dials are printed using a different method, and the paper used is different. This dial is probably from the 1950s and is more what the customer is looking for. I first need to locate the center and outer edges exactly so that it gets located correctly. This old dial has adhesive on the back, but I don't trust it, so I'll put on some acid-free Elmer's glue. I've polished the brass and clear coated it to keep it from oxidizing. Now to resolder the bezel to the dial pan. A file works good for trimming the paper dial cleanly. Always cut on the downstroke and lift the file away from the paper on the upstroke. This pin vise will work good to flare the brass on the escutcheons to lock them in. Much better. It's been working on the test stand for about a week now, so time to install it in the case. Now this latch needs attention. This modified nail just isn't working well. It was designed to have a screw holding it. I'll need to plug the holes now. This straight-grained cedar will work good. The tape keeps the glue from getting past the repair area. Press them in flush. Get it adjusted just right. Nice. It was missing this wood brace. Original looks like it was glued in using Lepage's or hide glue. This new oak brace fits perfect. It will need a patina put on it to match the original wood before gluing in. A nice running New Haven kitchen clock.